Let's take a look at the market. It's 5:15 Eastern Time, 10:15 London time, and we have weekly jobs coming out today. So what we are looking at is the daily Nasdaq. Decent push into this, well, to form this trend line. We pulled back, formed this base. Now we've had this slow decline into this new trend line with the potential to go and test this 15.5. Okay, so I bought the lows yesterday and sitting on them at this 15,000 mark. We just dipped under 15,000. So if we now close higher, we could finish the week well. If this continues and we break yesterday's low, then obviously we're going to tumble down. So we're just at this juncture where we are potentially going to get a reasonable move. Okay, in the meantime, the indicators are falling off. They're showing this lack of momentum. We're under the midline on the MACD, and the volume is low. However, the volume into the close last night was good. Hence the reason why I held this overnight. And I'm still in the trade with a stop under these lows in case it breaks down. Alright, so that's what I've been doing yesterday. In the meantime, the Dow is flying. We've broken this May high, sitting above. So this is why I'm expecting the Nasdaq to follow, because the Dow had this general drift down. So we pushed higher. We pulled back into the range, did nothing for a while, and then we've broken up. Again, we saw lack of momentum in indices, but it turned out to be a very bullish consolidation. The volume picked up, and here we are making all-time highs. I'm expecting, if we can sustain this, I'm expecting to see 36,000 plus. Ultimately, my longer term target is the 40,000 mark if we can sustain this. Just drag that down. See, I've got a major level up there at 38,500. That's a big ask, but the Dow has shown incredible resilience. And the market's expensive, there's no two ways about it. It is harder to find good stocks to buy at this stage. So if we do find ourselves dropping quite hard here, then we could pull back. But in the meantime, we are climbing a wall of fear almost. In that some people are... some pundits, experts are suggesting this market's too high and we're due a correction. Maybe they're right, but the market's always right, not the experts. You bear that in mind. The market is always right, not the experts. Bought the lows in the oil yesterday. I can see that going back to potentially 73. At which point that needs to make a decision as to what that's going to do. We saw almost a flash crash in the gold and the Sunday Open, followed by retracements. I don't think this gold is ready to go yet, and I hope I'm right, because I want to exploit what's going on here. I think we are potentially seeing what we had back in March. Normally the markets don't go straight down or straight up. Normally you can see on this drop we retraced. So on this drop we have already retraced, but I'm expecting this to hopefully make a higher low and then start to leg it back up. Okay, so I'm looking for this resistance to hold, for it to pull back. So if that's wave 1, that's wave 2, and then wave 3 can ping higher. In the meantime, we've got the potential for this just to boomerang straight up, I have to admit. But that's what I'm looking for. Right, I'm going to keep this very simple. Let's have a quick look at China before I move on. China is attempting to recover. It's very, this is the weak link in the chain. So we've got, now this is a very powerful chart pattern. So if we come back to this 15.5 and hold, then we should see 16.5 pretty quick. You can see the huge amount of support down there. We had a big blast up in June last year, which we didn't retrace here on this drop. So if the bulls are getting their hands on this, then 15.5 is viable for us to start to march up the hill again. Right, let's look at some stocks. Let's look at these miners. Centamin not doing it, the volume is rubbish. Fresnillo, it's come up, but again the volume is rubbish. Griffin, that's a very bold push higher. If we hold these levels, any pullbacks to 87 are viable. On Griffin, Pan-African, yes, any at the moment, any push higher is just sold into. But if I'm right about gold, then we are making a base down here. So I think we should close the year higher, but hopefully up at 22.25. If these lows get hold, if we start breaking 15, then we could come all the way down to 13 and more. POG. Yeah, the volume is still pathetic down there. And in fact, I'm out. I'm taken out. I'm out of this now. So I will stand aside. Right. Let's look at the UK usual. Start with the banks. Barclays doing incredibly well. We've got this gap down here, 167. At some stage, I would expect that to get filled. Now, that could be weeks, it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months. But that is a very impressive push higher. Standard. Been talking about these pushing up. Lloyd's is lagging. On the stock exchange, talked about this one. This is on the way. It's hit resistance, so any pullbacks to 78, 75, 78 are viable. Rolls doing well. Looking as if that could start to make its journey up to 135 plus. Glaxo, so I'm flipping around here, pushing up. BP, sitting up very well. So look at EasyJet and Chewy. This is building on volume's good, not brilliant. It's improving. If you're interested, try and get 825, 830 because that looks like that could make its way back up to that 960 resistance. And Chewy attempting to work. IQE I'm happy with. Any pullbacks to 48 are potentially viable. A little concerned about the lack of volume. That's certainly a nice punch higher. So I think on volume alone, I would have thought we could see some pullback still on that. BT has dipped after 206, and that's beginning to pick up as well. So I think any pullbacks to 175, we're currently 178, 180 are viable. If you're interested in a UK cheapy stock, watch out for this one, Seeing Machines. So we pulled back to 7.8, went up to 11.2. I wouldn't mind betting we are stuck in a range here, and we could see 9.25. It's come up on volume, but it's stuck. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that pull right back. Keep an eye on that one. Green Core attempting to break up. We've got a gap up there at 165. So I think this is a pullback at 120, 130. Volume is beginning to improve, not impressive at the moment. Lloyd's, Legal & General, it's had a good punch higher. Okay, so overall we are seeing some good moves. Sainsbury's sitting up high and Whitbread. Alright, US. So skills has really come tumbling. We're back down into, this is a major pivot level. So if we get back above 13 on volume, I'll get back in. But this is pathetic at the moment. It is potentially a very good opportunity, but I'm not touching it at this stage. Fubo's had a great run. Fubo has busted up. So this one held 25 very nicely. Volume was not brilliant, but it was consistent. Any pullbacks to 28 could see us make our way up to 38 plus. Square has hit a huge amount of resistance. PayPal. I'm liking PayPal here. Look at the volume coming up here. I think this is a potential good opportunity on PayPal. We're holding this 272, so if we can start to get above that 283, I think we might end up the year at 335 plus. Finally, BABA. I think if we at some stage close above 210, I think this is going to fly. I think that is a very bullish pattern. I think these lows are getting bought. So we saw a similar pattern here before we broke out. If this dip has got bought and we hold this and then subsequently start closing above 205, 210, I think we can wind up. Okay, so I think this is a basing pattern, and I think the volume it has been picking up here, so I think that supports the idea of buying 185, 190 with a stop under 174. Thanks very much, and I will talk to you as the week unfolds.